Hey everyone, welcome to the Captain Drone YouTube channel. My name is Steve. I am a drone pilot, but I also fly RC planes. So I do have my FMS hat on, which means I have another FMS RC plane product. So this is called the A6M30. So yeah, this is like a Japanese warplane. Do you remember the Zero in all the movies? This was like the plane that dominated the sky for the Japanese for an awfully long time, until the Americans made some really cool planes, and then this one wasn't as great. But you know what? The Zero is an awesome warplane, a war fighter, and to have it, you know, in a replica of an RC foam plane, it's pretty cool. Now the distance between the wing, one tip to another, is 1400 millimeters, so that's quite long, and that's why it looks so large in comparison to me. Some of the cool things about this is you have a beautiful three-bladed prop up front. You have retract gears, which when they go up, they fold in so nice that you don't even notice that there's actually landing gear there. It looks really sweet. 70 amp ESC. You run this one on a 4S LiPo battery, so you'll get about 8 to 10 minutes of flight time using that battery. Even on the bottom, you got a little bomb. No, you can't drop the bomb unless you add a servo. Then you can drop the bomb if you want. Little cannons on the wings for a realistic look. You got your pilot inside with a little instrument panel. Lots of room in that canopy. You could probably put something else. All in all, it's a really nice design. Look at it from the side. It looks really cool. So flying through the air, it should look stunning. Now I say it should look stunning is because, like all the planes I show on this channel, I've never flown them before. No, I take them out and I do a maiden the very first time. I fly them through the air and I tell you how cool they are, because as long as I don't crash them into a million pieces, then I guess they're pretty cool. So I'm still a newbie. I only learned how to fly planes 1 year ago in the month of May, and since then I've flown maybe 50 or 60 or even 70 different planes. Yeah, I've gone nuts because I love anything that flies in the sky. So this is my next one to conquer, and I'm going to take this out and take it for a spin. I'm also going to show you the box that comes in, all the pieces inside the box, and how to put it all together so you have a plane that looks like this when you're all finished. So enough of me jibber jabbering. How about we go fly right now? Here we go. All right, it's certainly a very cold morning this morning. It is 0 degrees Celsius, so I have my little gloves on because my fingers will freeze, but let's go get the plane. All right, so we have our Zero back here. Fits in my bed, really nice on the Jeep. Fully assembled and ready to go. Let's bring this over onto the runway. This runway is taking a beating. It is just full of holes. So good thing this has big wheels on it. Well, we'll see how it does. Plane's down there, ready to go. Plug in the battery and the plane will adjust itself. Get ready for takeoff. Make sure that's in tight. There we go. We'll hear some little beeps and blurps and stuff. There we go. It knows it has a 4-cell battery in there. Before we take off, let me just make sure the control surfaces work. So elevators to go up and down. Up and down. Rudder in the back. There we go. Going right, going left. Ailerons. You can see them over here. Ailerons up. That's right. And then we have flaps, which we're going to use. They're split flaps. So, I don't know if this camera can pick them up down here. Bring them down.
Flaps position 1.
I'll put them on 2.
Flaps position 2.
Actually, no. I'll just put them on 1. One's good. And the motor?
Motor arm.
There we go. She brings it forward. Nice. All right, we got some birds at the end of the runway. This is the maiden, so wish me luck. Since it's bumpy, I've got the flaps on, so it gets up in the air really quick. It won't be a smooth takeoff. So here we go. There we go. Take the flaps off.
Flaps level.
And when we go over myself, I will put the gear up. Oh, into the sun. Lovely. First thing in the morning. Blinding, blinding. Okay, this is a maiden, so I got to get used to how it flies and turns. But here we go, coming at me, and gears going up. Looks awesome as I dive over the birds. I gotta love maidens because I never know what to expect. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what to expect. So, I try to keep the throttle on my maidens at 50% just in case there's a stall factor. So this one here seems to fly like a dream. And that sun, I've got to fly in a different direction. Hang on a sec. So I'm going to bring it around and dive bomb me here. I'm going to then give it some throttle and turn it. There we go. Certainly flies nice. There's no wind this morning, you know, just a tiny breeze, but it's really nice. Okay, I'm bringing it at me here. Get a good look at it there. She goes over. Take it up, give it a little bit of full throttle, up in the air, and turn. So what are my thoughts? Well, I'm gonna say right off the bat, since this is a maiden and I've done no trimming, It's a beautiful flyer. It almost doesn't even sound like I have the engine on. Like, it's hard to hear the motor. It doesn't make a lot of noise. Here, I'll bring it down the runway again. There we go, come down the runway. I'll try not to hit the ground. There we go. It looks so cool with that bomb. Let's go around this way. A different turn. And close my eyes, we're going in the sun. You should get a lot of flight time with a plane like this because I can already tell it glides nice. Okay, so here we're coming around. I'm gonna try to dive at me without hitting me. And there's 100. There we go. Certainly is a nice plane for those who love scale flying planes. And this is what this is. This is more for people who love scale flying. If you have a whole bunch of friends out with warbirds, this one will dominate due to its size. It is quite large. There we go. It does look very nice. I love the wing design on it. Now, a lot of people are going to ask me, could a beginner fly this plane? And the answer, of course, is yes. I don't mean a beginner like it's your first plane. I mean like you bought yourself a Carbon Cub or an Aero Scout and this is your next plane. You could easily fly this because it flies, it's so very docile. I'll fly it around here. Very little input into the joysticks to fly it, and it goes exactly where I want it to go. So no issues there. All right, I'm down to 1 minute. I set my timer for 5 minutes because it is a maiden, and I always do that, but I might as well bring it down because I've done enough talking. It's going right into the wind. I don't even have flaps on. No flaps, nothing. I'll give it a little bit more throttle so it gets closer to us. There we go. And look at that. And go right into my GoPro. Ran right. What the heck is with me and reviews and killing the GoPro? I don't know how many GoPros I have destroyed. Well, the good news is no damage to the plane. This plane not only takes out other fighters, but it also takes out GoPros. I'm gonna go make sure this GoPro's still working. Yeah, this is the GoPro that got knocked over by this guy down here. All right. So next thing I want to show you is when you get this plane, it comes in a really large box and you have to assemble it, but it's really easy to assemble. So let me show you what comes in the box and how to assemble it. Watch this. Now let's take a look at what comes in the box. This would be the box your FMS 0 comes in, and inside the box you'll find all the components to assemble this plane into something awesome. Starting with the instruction manual, followed by the main wings, followed by the horizontal stabilizers, followed by the vertical stabilizer, and then finally the fuselage. And a lot of components are already installed on the fuselage. You'll also find your propeller assembly, as well as a bag containing parts and hardware. Now let me show you how to quickly assemble this plane. This portion of the assembly is the most time consuming of all because you have to screw in all the control horns into all the movable surface areas. And after you complete that, then you have to add all the control rod linkages to the servo all the way to the control horn. Please note that you can see here I used fiberglass tape to secure my control horns only so that they stay in place longer. These body panels fit behind the main wing and are glued into position. Now to assemble the main wings, you only need the large wing spar, pass it through one wing, then pass it through the other wing and bring the wings closer and closer together. All of the hanging wires must sit on the upper portion of the wing, so if they're hanging on the bottom like mine were, just push them through until they're on the upper portion. Next, take all the Y connector cables that came with the kit, join the two gear cables into one, join the two flaps cables into one, etc. Flip the main fuselage upside down, take the wings, pass all those cables through the hole in the bottom of the fuselage, then place the main wings into position, add the two plastic securing plates to the belly of the plane. Next, take the bag of screws, take the long ones, secure the wing into place. You will need glue to add the horizontal stabilizer. As seen here, everything will fit nicely into position. The vertical stabilizer also needs to be glued into place. Once you've spread glue around the base, just push it down into position. You can now connect the control rod to the control horn on the rudder. The rear horizontal stabilizer also requires a body part. You have to glue it into position as shown here. To install the propeller assembly, first install the nuts into the base plate, then install each of the three prop blades with the included screws. When complete, it will look like this. Place the prop base over the motor shaft, add the top securing cover, lock everything in place with the nose spindle, simply twist it into position. To add the guns, you will need to glue them in place and each gun fits on the wings as shown here. The belly bomb simply slides into place on the belly so it can be removed at any time. To install the antenna, it fits behind the pilot in the canopy as shown here. So next thing I'm going to do is check how much battery power is remaining. I flew for almost 5 minutes. I left my GoPro hat on so I can show you it up close. There we go. All right, I don't know if the GoPro hat picks this up because the sun's right there, so I'll turn this way. But it says we have 75% battery remaining. So 4.5 minutes flying on this 4004S, and I have 75% battery power remaining. So you can fly for a long time, up to 10 minutes easily on this thing. If I did 4.5 at 75%, you can easily do 10 minutes. So there you have it. You've seen what comes in the box. You've seen how it goes together. You've seen how it flies on a maiden. I did no trimming, nothing. Right out of the box, it flies perfectly. And yes, I do believe that somebody who has flown like an Aero Scout or a Carbon Cub as their very first plane, and they want to buy their second plane and they want something highly detailed, a Warbird, this is easy for a beginner to fly. It's very, very forgiving. It's a very nice plane to fly. And you saw when I landed, just glided in. I had next to no throttle. Well, actually I had no throttle. Then I added a little bit of throttle to bring it closer to me, and then I just turned the throttle off again. Give it a little bit of up elevator as it's coming down so you can keep the nose up, and it just glides, touches the ground and lands. It's beautiful. So with all that said, this is an FMS plane and it's not super expensive for what you get, especially since it does come with reflex. Reflex is something similar to what Horizon Hobby has, you know, with their AS3X and Safe. Reflex, it's basically the same. So if you're a beginner, you'll put the reflex on. It shows you in the manual what to do. And when you get better, you can just take it off, or you can put on the AS3X type of reflex. It's really cool. Anyways, with all that said, the links to this plane are below. Go check it out. It's a very popular plane, and see if it's the plane for you. But for now, I say thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you in a future video with many more reviews. Until then, I say bye.